Hi, I'm Ernabel Demillo, and welcome to Asian American Life, the summer edition. This month, we're gonna have some fun checking out New York City's art scene, from music, dance, and lifestyle trends. Here's a sneak peek. Keeping tradition alive, Susan Jhun stays in step with Korean dance. Plus, Pachinko is one of Barack Obama's favorite summer reads, and Kang shares why. Rayner Ramirez meets an actor couple who's changing the face of TV. Minnie Rowe shares a whole lot of jazz with rising star pianist Miki Yamanaka. And I meet the superheroes of Super You. This and more on Asian American Life. Modern Korean music and dance captivate with K-pop, the South Korean pop music scene which has become a global sensation. And while many Korean Americans get caught up in the excitement of K-pop, some choose to look to ancient times to keep old traditions alive. Dating back 5,000 years to the Gojoseon Kingdom, traditional Korean dance is a study in controlled and precise movements. A far cry from the look and sound of the current craze of K-pop. Still, there is a link between present and past in the precision of the choreography and the dramatic expression through music and dance, which has long been part of Korea's cultural heritage.
This all started from shamanic rituals and Buddhism rituals, which has developed different style of dancing, preserving the beauty of the Korean dancing.
Donning customary Korean silk dresses called hanbok, dancers practice the ancient art form that's kept alive at the Korean Traditional Music and Dance Center in Flushing, Queens.
I've been living here 42 years. Yeah, more than I lived in Korea. So I want to connect through this dance.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Heels together, heels together.
Director of the center, Kang, teaches a hybrid of traditional and modern dances, constantly coming up with new creations while maintaining the core of ancient Korean dance.
The lines that we are creating is very curved. You have to express a little by little. That means you are releasing your joy and sadness, whatever that is in you.
The rich history of ancient Korea is conveyed through the dances of the royal court, as seen in the striking fan dance and felt in the rhythmic folk music of the traditional Korean drums. An award-winning dancer and Queens College graduate, Kang was exposed to performance from a young age, watching her mother, Sunsook Park, an accomplished and award-winning artist, perform pansori, Korean opera, and the gayugum, a traditional Korean stringed instrument developed in the 6th century. Park established the Korean Traditional Music and Dance Center in 1987 after coming to the U.S. from South Korea, hoping to spread awareness and appreciation for ancient Korean arts.
I think it's really important to keep up the old traditions. Without the old tradition, there's no new ones.
A concept that's not lost on the younger generation. Jihwan Choi, a senior at Queens College, has been playing the traditional Korean drums since the age of 8.
But I just really wanted to just embrace my culture and my origins and my roots, of Korean roots.
For NYU junior Hannah Kim, it's not as much about embracing her roots as it is about discovering them.
As a Korean American living and born in the United States, I feel like it's really hard to connect with your culture. And so I feel like an organization like this really immerses me and exposes me to the culture that I've never known and seen.
And in connecting the past with the present, the future is not forgotten. At the center's second studio on Long Island, there's a keen focus on teaching the very young, many of whom are second and third generation Korean Americans.
Looking at and to the future, Kang hopes someday to open a Korean cultural school.
I think it's really important for me to spread it and teaching it, passed on to the next generations.
And for more information on the Korean Traditional Music and Dance Center, check out their website at ktmdc.com. For Asian American Life, I'm Susan Jhun.
I'm Kyung-yoon. 2 years ago, I sat down with the Korean-American author Jin Lee just months after her second novel, Pachinko, had been published. Since that time, Pachinko has gone on to win accolade after accolade, a finalist for the National Book Award in Fiction in 2017, on the bestseller list of the New York Times and Amazon. And just earlier this year, none other than President Barack Obama recommended Pachinko from his personal reading list. It's been a heady couple of years for Jin Lee, and we thought it was a good time to share our interview with the talented author once again.
Jin Lee says it's taken her nearly 3 decades to write and rewrite her latest novel. She got the inspiration in 1989 when she was in college.
I was a history major, and I attended a lecture where an American missionary talked about the history of the Koreans in Japan.
Lee says she was shocked to learn about the deep-rooted discrimination and hostility faced by ethnic Koreans in Japan. And there was one part of the missionary story that she never forgot.
And they told us this one story of a little boy who was 13 years old who climbed up to his apartment building and then he jumped to his death. And his parents were absolutely devastated, and they went through his things to try to figure out a clue as to why would their son do such a horrible thing when they didn't see any signs. So they found his middle school yearbook in which his classmates, who are Japanese, had written, "Go back to where you belong, you smell like kimchi and garlic," and they wrote the words die, die, die. And what's important to recognize, besides the fact that it's a horrible, sad thing that these children had written about this little boy who ended up dying, is that the boy was born in Japan, his parents were born in Japan, and his only crime for being hated was that he was ethnically Korean.
Lee has woven the story into her captivating novel that chronicles 80 years and multiple generations of one family, starting in Korea in the early 1900s all the way to Japan in 1989.
If you kill yourself, our high school next year will have one less filthy Korean. Nobody likes you. Koreans are troublemakers and pigs. Get the hell out. Why are you here anyway? You smell like garlic and garbage. Haruki closed a book and laid it beside him on the clean floor. He took a sip of tea. That was such a contrary experience to what I had that I was very, very surprised. And I think when I was 19, I couldn't have articulated why it upset me so much, but it did upset me, and that feeling stayed with me for a really long time.
Jin Lee was born in Korea and immigrated to New York with her family when she was 7 years old. Her best-selling debut novel, Free Food for Millionaires, was set in a world of Korean immigrants in Queens and New York City.
My parents came in 1976. They worked hard. They had some pretty horrible jobs initially.
Like what kind of jobs?
My parents initially ran a newspaper stand in 1976 to 1977, and then they had another job afterwards where they owned a small wholesale jewelry business in what is now Koreatown on 30th and Broadway. That was a very, very tough job where it was an underheated store, and I used to work there on the weekends as well as on all my school breaks, and the bathrooms were just so scary. They had these rats like the size of cats, like these subway rats, I think just essentially lived there. So that's my vivid memory of how they essentially created an opportunity for me to go to college and to go to law school. That said, in terms of the external world, I felt Americans in New York recognized the work that my parents were doing and the work that my sisters and I did, and we were encouraged all along the way.
Lee says things could not be more different for Korean immigrants in Japan who receive a very different message from employers and the government.
We will not hire you to be a police officer or a nurse or a teacher. We will not give you citizenship. We will make sure that you don't have social welfare programs. Somehow fend for yourself.
How significant is it for you that it was released in 2017 in a post-election America?
Everybody keeps talking about the timeliness of this book because it deals with immigration and discrimination and how people are unwanted. Because essentially the Korean Japanese haven't been wanted for 100 years. And they've always been made to feel marginal. And I didn't plan that, but I do think that what it reflects is that around the world, people don't want the other. And they'll always create the other, even if there isn't an other.
And it is the resilience of immigrant families, their struggles, their heartbreaks, their triumphs, and their search for belonging that are recurring themes in Jin Lee's writings.
Moses' small head rested between Kyung-hee's thin shoulder blades, and Sunja watched them walk away. And when they're out of earshot, Sunja cried out, "Kimchi! Delicious kimchi! Kimchi!"
Pachinko has received widespread acclaim since it was published in February, including being selected as a top 10 book of the month for Amazon, a New York Times Editor's Choice, and an American Booksellers Association's Indie Next Great Reads.
Pachinko has the distinction of being the longest-running bestseller of 2018, according to Publishers Weekly. And when the broadcast rights for Pachinko went up for bid last year, it ignited a bidding war that was ultimately won by Apple TV. Media insiders say the 8-part dramatic series that's in the works is the biggest budgeted production at Apple. I'm Kyung-yoon for Asian American Life.
She plays a district attorney in one of the longest-running soap operas on television. He's played a cutthroat salesman in an iconic play. Both see a new stage for Asian American actors in front of and behind the camera.
Laura Kai Chen plays Melinda Trask on the NBC soap opera Days of Our Lives. She says in some ways, she's like the ruthless district attorney she plays on TV.
Melinda and I are both smart and ambitious.
Her husband, actor Manu Narayan, who recently starred in 2019's Merrily We Roll Along on Broadway, agrees.
Definitely smart and ambitious is correct, and beautiful and sexy.
The couple met a few years ago at the La Jolla Playhouse in California, where Manu had a starring role in the stage production of David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross.
We met at the La Jolla Playhouse when Manu was doing Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a wonderful David Mamet play.
And I was playing the Al Pacino part in the movie, Ricky Roma.
I had heard about him, but I hadn't actually met him. So I went down to see the show, and I waited for him after the show, and the rest is history.
The couple wed in 2015, and role play was just part of the deal.
I was born in Pittsburgh. Laura was born in Berkeley, but lived so much of her time in Chicago. But when people look at us, especially in the media or in theater projects or whatever, they want to cast us as people from India or from China.
Manu and Laura say they prefer to play roles in which they are cast against type.
I just did Merrily We Roll Along at the Roundabout, which is a famous Stephen Sondheim musical.
Some of my favorite auditions are auditions which are not specifically written to be Chinese American or Asian American, because I get a great feeling when I go in for them, and the feeling is, oh, they're seeing me because they want to see me.
Asian American actors are getting more screen time on film and television today.
I don't remember ever seeing anyone that looked like me on TV, besides Connie Chung. I am optimistic about the direction that we're moving in.
In thinking about representation in Hollywood, so much of that, I think, is focused on what we see on screen. But I'm more and more understanding that what we see on screen is reflective of the representation in the administrative corners of Hollywood.
Crazy Rich Asians this past year had a huge impact, and it had an impact because it made money. And it became very clear that a movie that had a primarily Asian and Asian American cast, that everybody would go see this movie.
Crazy Rich Asians was a blockbuster, grossing more than $230 million in the US alone, and it won the 2018 Critics' Choice Awards for Best Comedy. More movies featuring Asian American actors are out this year, including The Sun Is Also a Star and Always Be My Maybe, starring Ali Wong and Randall Park on Netflix. And while the prospects for up-and-coming Asian American actors may be rosier today, Laura have some sage advice.
Don't let anybody define you. Be your own advocate and bring yourself to your work.
You can see Laura Kai Chen in the new Netflix series, What If? For Asian American Life, I'm Rayner Ramirez.
Rising star pianist Miki Yamanaka has played with many jazz greats, and now she has an album of her own. Minnie Rowe has the latest.
When I was at Queens College, I never thought about, or I didn't even think about myself being at Dizzy's Club or Smalls Jazz Club. Didn't really picture myself being on the stage and playing with the musicians that are high level.
Miki Yamanaka has been playing piano since age 5. Speaking little English when she arrived 7 years ago, Miki quickly adapted to the quirks and rhythms of the city, landing gigs in some of the coolest jazz clubs in town.
It used to be a challenge, of course. I couldn't speak English and I didn't know any tunes, but the way I learned was from jam session. People kick my ass and learn how to listen, learn how to learn the tunes, learn how to communicate with people.
For a jazz musician, fitting in with a trio one night and a quartet the next requires focus, discipline, and a measure of dexterity.
So it could be someday I played duo with just a bass player. It's very intimate. Right after that, maybe in the same night, I could totally play a big band gig. That is completely different role for me as a pianist. When I do a big band gig, for example, it's I just have to make the band feel good and then play the nice lyrical, nice stuff on top of everybody else. I just have to, go with it, and I have to know what I'm doing.
Her debut self-titled CD offers intricate, thoughtful, original tunes mixed with well-chosen classics, including her riff on a cut from Thelonious Monk.
I am very proud of it because I worked very hard on it. Picking Monk's tune is part of I would like to show my color. So when I play something that's written by someone who is very influential in this music, I would like to at least to respect how they wrote it and how they played it. And then after that, how I cook it is up to me. It's a very, very big challenge for me, but it is also fun to add my own musicality.
Miki draws on experience when advising aspiring musicians who seek to make their mark on New York's jazz scene.
I just found there are many jazz clubs in the city, so I basically started going out almost every single night. Every night, just try to meet new people, get better at communicating with people, of course playing piano as well. And if you play specifically jazz music, it's a community music. You have to be in the community. You have to find your own community that you feel like you belong to, and then find your voice. So if you commit to it, you gotta do it. You gotta show up on time, dress nice, and be ready to play whatever comes in front of your face. Every gig is different, and that's why it's really fun to play jazz.
I'm Minnie Rowe for Asian American Life.
Sometimes all you need is a cape and the encouragement of, well, we'll call her a superhero, to find the superpower in you. Coming up, I met a woman whose quest is to go school to school and beyond to find the superhero in all of us.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superhero Shine, bringing music, art, and a whole lot of fun to New York City schools.
We use our hearts to love.
It is a global arts and music-based educational nonprofit that teaches youth to connect to their most empowered superhero selves through music and arts and writing and presentation. And it's all about redefining superheroes. It's just about recognizing the most amazing traits that you are, as well as your fears and obstacles.
Lourdes Lane, aka Superhero Shine, founded the Super Youth Foundation in 2013, developing a curriculum using the language of superheroes to inspire and empower students.
Loving girl, fear zapper, super trickle, creative girl.
It's a character development curriculum. There's a lot of emphasis nowadays on standards and test taking. But who are these kids? How are they going to grow up as humans? What's their character going to be like?
The Super U curriculum is now in over 100 schools nationwide, and there is a waiting list.
When I first came into the school 5 years ago, we were using a different system for positive reinforcement. And to me, it didn't seem to be making any impact on the students. We were still having a lot of aggressive behaviors.
Michelle Dzwonek, principal of PS 239 in Ridgewood, Queens, adopted the program 5 years ago.
Difference in your children, especially as they start going through the curriculum and they start talking about what's so special about themselves. And I think that's really important in our day and age because, as I said before, many kids aren't hearing those positive reinforcements from the people surrounding them. So they themselves need to learn how to pick out that positiveness in themselves and then push it forward.
And this curriculum requires 100% participation from students, teachers, and yes, the principal, so everyone finds their superpower.
And what is your superpower? I'm the ruler of right. Thinking about myself, it's very difficult sometimes to come up with that, like, okay, what's so special about me? And one of the teachers said to me, you are the fairest person we know. So that's why I said, okay, and I thought about, okay, what's another word for fair? Right.
It also means reporter involvement. I was deemed superhero guiding light. My powers, guidance, and light for others.
If you're doing your superpower pose, right, you would be like, I am guiding light and I feel empowered.
Oh, wow, yes, so
I am guiding light and I feel empowered. Yes!
Positivity, empowerment, and love are just some of the things Lane wants kids to feel, because it was all the things she, a violin prodigy, sought as a child.
I had quite a lot of turbulence in my childhood. And I had a really strict Asian Filipino, I'm a proud Filipino, by the way, tiger mom.
She went public with her family secret in a 2012 TEDx talk, speaking candidly about her mother, a victim of domestic violence.
I grew up in a small house in Jamaica, Queens, where there was a lot of fighting and screaming. I played and I played and I played to drown out the sound of my dad beating my mom.
She's a battered wife, but it made her really sort of clamp down on having some semblance of control with her children, right? And so she is this amazing matriarch and, you know, like the breadwinner of the family and taking care of everything like a total supermom. And at the same time, she would kick me out of the car if I didn't know my multiplication tables perfectly. Do you know what I mean? So it was very, very intense.
She said she was living to please her mom, and Lane was the best. The music prodigy went on to Harvard.
And the thing about it is that all that intensity soaked into me, into my beingness. So now I've got this high intensity, overachiever, perfectionist brain, so much so that I would get a 99 on a test and go to the school and say, this is unjust.
So it's no surprise that Lane rebelled after college. After Harvard, she lived in a van and toured the country with her rock band. But rebellion wasn't the cure. Lane dug deep and eventually found that her superhero power was always inside her.
superhero name is Shine. And as you can see here, I'm gonna get up and show you. I'm Shine, and this is a superhero of love.
Her next mission is to take her superpowers to Broadway, shining a light beyond New York City schools. The Super You musical, which follows the story of a comic book artist who learns to love herself, had its first staging this spring, and she is workshopping the show this summer.
We are already loved. We are already enough. We are already whole. We are already superheroes.
I'm Ernabel Demillo for Asian American Life.
That's our show for now. If you want to learn more about our stories, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Asian American Life. I'm Ernabel Demillo. We'll see you next time.